Hi, Rhiannon here. We're in Grasstown today commemorating the Grasstown riots that occurred here 30 years this day in 1971. What happened is some peaceful marijuana activists were gathered here, 2,000 people in all, they say, and the mayor at that time sent in some cops on horses, pigs on horses, and they brutally beat down people. There was 122 hospitalizations, and the business owners around here did not react well to it, and they in fact launched a civil suit against the police, and they were instrumental in getting the police department to back down and stop being so harsh against marijuana users, and that has led to the atmosphere of tolerance and compassion that you see here today in Vancouver. So we're here and we're having music and signs and everyone's smoking pot, and there's speakers Mark Emery and Dana Larson and David Malmo-Levine, and you'll hear from them later in the show. Let's take a look.
It's called The Rainy Day Wind by Bob Dylan.
So I just want to give you guys a little breakdown about what went on there with me and the cop. His name was Mike. He was really nice, actually. We kind of liked each other. We had kind of a height similarity sort of thing. We were digging on. But basically I asked if there had been any complaints, and he replied that yes, there's been a number of complaints, 5 complaints about this area, because this area has a cultural significance and it's a tourist area, so people were kind of upset that something was going on that was out of the ordinary. And I thought, oh well, how ironic. I said, this area we are here for because it bears a cultural significance to us as well. 30 years ago today, when the cops brutally beat down peaceful marijuana supporters. So it's funny because this is a little bit of a complaint on our side, or a commemoration, I should say. So he got his hackles up a little bit after that, but he did say to me that we come here, so we're only here to keep the peace and make sure everything stays calm and no trouble happens. So as long as everything's peaceful, everything should be all right. Or I'm paraphrasing there, but basically after that they seemed like it was getting worse. They sent in 2 more, but now they're gone. So thanks, Mike.
The house band of the marijuana movement. All right, and let's give a big hand to the police today for being much more relaxed than in 1971. Thank you for showing tolerance and freedom of us. It's contagious and habit forming. Might get picked up other places around the world. We are kind of trendsetters here in Vancouver. But let me tell you a few words about 1971. and about this place they're standing in right now. It's actually famous for drug dealers, There is a drug dealer right there. That's Gassy Jack. He was an alcohol dealer. He showed up on the shores of what was then just one street called Water Street right here in 1867. And he had a canoe and his wife and their mother-in-law and a yellow dog and $6 in his pocket and a keg of whiskey. And he rode up on the shores of this here town that wasn't even a town, and he looked over at the guys coming off work at the Hastings sawmill just a mile away, and he said, "Boys, you build me a saloon and I'll serve you drinks every night after work." And in one night they built him a saloon, and he was like the mayor of Grasstown. They named it after him, Gassy Jack. It wasn't because of any sort of medical problem, but back then gassing someone meant making them laugh and talking very quickly. And so Gassy Jack, he was kind of the center, the heart of the town, and he would nickname people, and that nickname would stick with them for the rest of their lives, and he'd bring euphoria and relaxation to the hard workers of Grasstown. And so this community grew and grew into the present city you see today. But in 1971, there was a bunch of young people living here because the rents were cheaper. And as young people are wont to do, they were relaxing with the kind herb cannabis. And then the city didn't like that because it was, of course, illegal, that being the only problem associated with cannabis. But it was illegal, so they hired a private detective agency to find out all the names of all the pot dealers. And then the police cracked down on them all at once. And there was over 100 people arrested in 1 week. So the young people's voice at the time was the Georgia Straight, which was much more radical than it is today. And the Georgia Straight people organized a smoke-in and street jamboree to be held August 7th. Saturday, August 7th at 8:30 p.m. 1971. And on 8:30 p.m. 1971, August 7th, 200 people gathered here. And they pulled out a great big 8-foot-long pretend joint and a few real ones. And they sparked it up and they started singing "Power to the People." And by 10 o'clock at night, there was 2,000 people here in the square. And they were having a great time. They were singing and dancing, young people and old people, families were here. And they were blocking traffic and they were smoking marijuana. The police didn't like it. So they rode in on horseback. And they swung their truncheons. And they cracked people's heads open and they broke arms and legs, dragged people over glass. They attacked pregnant women, merchants in their doorways, young people, and reporters. And they should have never attacked reporters. It was their undoing because it was on the front cover of every newspaper in Canada the next day. And so the police kind of got a heavy dose of what is now called Rodney King-ophobia. You should never get caught using force without justification on film. And ever since then, the police have been very polite in front of cameras. So that's why we have lots of cameras at every smoke-in, to keep everybody polite and positive. And so we commemorate that time where it wasn't just a protest against the pot laws, it was a protest against a crackdown on pot dealers. It was a pro-pot dealer protest organized by the Georgia Straight. And we are remembering that today. Pot dealers are people too. Pot dealer is a person in your neighborhood. In your neighborhood. In your neighborhood, yes, a pot person is a person in your neighborhood. He's a person that you meet each day, sometimes. He's a person that I meet each day. And pot dealers are people too. They get a bad rap, but everyone should give thanks that they know somebody who distributes cannabis. They're kind of like the priests of our community. They hold us together. They make sure we stay happy, hungry, relaxed. They take great risks upon themselves. And they make sure that we all stay happy, hungry, and relaxed.